video. Now, like you gotta understand, like with these videos, I'm basically just showing, what I see that's going on within our communities. I'm mainly doing it to get your comments on these matters that are going on. So that's what it's about. And on that note, let's just go on and just get into it. I'm not gonna hold you too long, but here we go. Let's just go on and just start this video.
I always tell people the day the Latino, African American, Asian, and other communities realize that they share the same oppressor is the day we start winning. But the problem is our communities are divided. For Asian Americans and for African Americans, we probably have one of the worst relationships between any community.
Well, I bet you a lot of Asian Americans too in my experience, don't even realize that if it wasn't for the civil rights movement, there would not be 22 million Asian Americans in this country.
Thank you. What I have been trying to teach the Asian community is like, friends, do you understand that your success, your prosperity, your civil rights that you enjoy right now was paid for with Black blood?
Wow.
This is mainly for my Black people. Let me get this straight. I just want to make sure that I'm understanding correctly. So because some Latinos voted for Trump, that means that every undocumented Latino, those that didn't vote, that can't vote because they're undocumented, deserve ICE to bang down their door? Do you hear yourselves? That logic is white supremacy in the Black voice. Since when did we start echoing the colonizer just because the target changed? The system has always been brutal. It brutalized us. It's brutalizing them. And if you think silence now makes you safe later, we can ask our ancestors how well that worked. Oppression isn't a game of karma. It's a cycle. So you either break it or become it. And to clarify, because I know somebody's going to be in my comments saying this, I'm not saying go out and protest and put yourself in harm's way. I'm specifically talking about the people who are echoing the colonizer's language of who deserves to be in America and who doesn't, who's considered human and who's not. Even just using the term illegal is dehumanizing. So again, I'm not saying you need to be out there protesting and getting yourself hurt, but the very least you can do is to not echo and side with the colonizer.
Hello guys, welcome back to another interesting episode. Now some of the Latinos.
We're gonna skip through him. He made a lot of good, interesting points though.
Take a sip of my morning coffee before I say what I'm about to say. You know what? Who cares? What the hell is wrong with Latinos? What the hell is wrong with us as a whole? Like seriously, we need to start talking about this. It first started with over half of us, 60% to be exact, voting for the orange tyrant, voting against our own people, our own interests, and we're seeing how that is playing out. You know what? We're not going there. Then the Latinos have the caucasity to go on Beyonce's internet, attacking Black people for not rioting in the streets like they were doing during the Black Lives Matter movement on our behalf, when it was the consequences of our own actions that got us here in the first place. Like, how are the caucasity? Like, seriously, that is caucasiousness. Then to add insult to injury, there are Latinos going on Beyonce's internet, attacking sinners, Ryan Coogler's masterpiece, because there wasn't Latino representation. First of all, don't come for Ryan Coogler, okay? Because while Latino people are just bending the knee and kissing and licking boots just to get invited into the room, let alone a seat at the table, Ryan Coogler was like, F that table, I'm gonna make my own table. Beyonce was like, F that table, I'm gonna make my own table. And they now are inviting their own people to these tables for these opportunities. And you have the caucasity, because that's what it is. Y'all acting like the white people that they want to be so damn bad to be accepted by so damn bad because there's not Latino representation. Y'all are confusing representation with the showcase that was Sinners, the history lesson that was Sinners. Like, it's not the same. What makes me so sad is, when did Latino people become like this? When did the orgullo, the pride dissipate into thin air? Like, when are we so accepting of bare minimum, a little cameo in the movie, or just like invited to their spaces that they don't even want us in? Like, when did, like, we need to have a talk. We are not okay as Latino people. As a Black Mexican American, okay, so I'm both. Can Black people just not have their moment? Can Black people just not have all the flowers that they're given right now? Because make no mistake, what is happening amongst Hollywood and the entertainment industry in regards to Black people bulldozing these doors open and creating their own lanes and creating their own spaces, it's beautiful. It is, man, I'm getting goosebumps because I am so damn proud to be Black. You know, I'm so damn proud to be the other, you know, like and then you have Latino people coming in here trying to ride on the coattails. It's like, create your own damn freaking lane. Some Dusty on TikTok want to compare Sinners to From Dusk Till Dawn, which, make no mistake, From Dusk Till Dawn is an iconic movie. One of the baddest women to ever grace the earth was in that movie, Miss Salma Hayek, who created a scene that is so iconic, and I understand that, but how can you compare the two? I'm not getting the correlations, because From Dusk Till Dawn was representation. You just have Latino people in there, but there was no history lesson. There was no displaying our culture so beautifully like Sinners was. You know what I mean? It's like, when did we get like this? Why are we all of a sudden like this in droves? Because like I said, it wasn't even half. It's not half and half. It was over half of us. You know, it all started with the election that kind of put it on display, right? But my gaster is flabbered. I just don't know what to say anymore. I don't know how we got like this, and we need to stop. We need to freaking stop and get out of the way, because this is Black creators, Black directors, Black musicians' time to shine. You know, Black actors. Like, this is their moment. We don't need to try again to attach ourselves and hoping that they, you know, maybe create a lane for. No, we can do that for ourselves. We can do that for ourselves, and we have been. Why are Latino people acting like we're not creating spaces and, you know, creating our own lanes? And there's so many Latinos in the entertainment industry that are doing this for us as well. Like, I don't get it. Now I'm gonna have my sip of coffee, because I'm done. I'm shook.
Let me just talk about the anti-blackness that exists in the Latino community, because it's a real thing. And it is only further perpetuating the division between our two communities and contributing to the overall oppression of our two communities. And I know there's going to be some people out there that's like, that's not even a thing, that's not a real issue, but it is. I grew up hearing freaking racist remarks made towards Black people, and I heard it often. And I know so many other people did. And not only is it about anti-Blackness, it's also about internalized racism that some Latinos, including myself when I was a child, felt the need to be white because I saw white people being treated better. And in my mind, I'm like, well, if I'm white, or if I consider myself white, or if I tell people that I'm white, then I am going to be treated better. I didn't understand as a child why I even felt that, but we are socialized as a society to want that, unless you break out of the freaking matrix and you realize, oh my gosh, we're all being oppressed by the same freaking systems. So for us to have division, and for there to be anti-Blackness in our community, is not helping anyone. One, it's just wrong, but two, it's only further perpetuating the oppression that already exists in our freaking society. So there's that part.
What they want.
And then there's this whole dismissal of Afro-Latinos, because Afro-Latinos exist, yet sometimes are classified as not Latino, when in reality, they are Latinos, Afro-Latinos. And then there's this whole freaking connection to where we find ourselves in American history, okay? And the fact that many people, many Latinos, Latino men in particular, did not want to vote for a black and Asian, but a Black woman, okay? And then there's the intersection of machismo, internalized racism, anti-Blackness, and all of it contributing, again, to the further perpetuation of oppression of our communities. That's what I need people to understand. When there's division between our two communities, that is purposeful, okay? Because these systems, these people in power want us to be infighting, when in reality, there's a lot more that we have in common. We are also being oppressed by the same systems. We should be supporting each other. And it is because of Black people and their advocacy that we, as Latinos and other communities, have the civil rights that we have today. The ability for us to even be able to have that privilege was in large due part to Black people, okay? So I need us to understand that. And I need us to have a conversation about that, because even if we were brought up that way, that doesn't mean that we can't change. That doesn't mean that we can't do better, because we can, okay? Even if society socializes us to believe that, we can change, we can do better. So if you want to have this conversation, follow for more.
Okay, so let's talk about it, because I'm kind of seeing a pattern that's hard to ignore, and it's time we talk about it, honestly. If you do have comments.
The question is, so will you discuss why the Latino community keeps voting for the racist white man who harms them while they vilify Black people but don't have the same energy for white
for
people?
This video, make sure you keep them respectful, not just to me, but to everybody else too. We can't afford to continue to be divisive. So why do some Latinos vote for Trump? Why do those people align themselves with whiteness even when it works directly against them? And why, in doing so, do they often turn their backs on Black people? Let's start with this. Not all Latinos are anti-Black. Not all Latinos voted for Trump. That's fact. But when we talk about patterns, we're talking about systems. We're talking about something that didn't start here. It started way back. See, Latin America didn't escape colonization. It was built on it. Spanish and Portuguese colonizers created rigid racial caste systems, where, of course, whiteness was at the top, and Blackness, especially of African descent, was at the bottom. And as sad as it is to say, that mentality largely has never left. In fact, many Latin American countries, Anti-blackness isn't just cultural, it's institutional. In school systems, beauty standards, marriage expectations, even immigration policies. Now, if we fast forward to life in the US, here you have entire generations of Latino families, many of whom were taught that the closer you are to whiteness, the safer that you end up being. Lighter skin, a passport. European ancestry, a flex. And blackness, still associated with poverty, danger, and rebellion, which is everything that white supremacy tells you to fear. So when someone like Trump comes along, and he's loud, nationalistic, racist, anti-immigrant, you think the Latinos would run the other way, right? But here's what we saw. For those who've internalized anti-blackness, Trump represents order, power, a place to hide. And if your survival has always been tied to not being black, you'll throw us under the bus just to get a seat on it. And we all know it's not about politics, it's about identity. Because many Latinos their whole lives have been told that if they align themselves with blackness, it's an automatic failure. That it means going backwards, that it means becoming the problem. When they see black people taking up space, demanding justice, organizing, protesting, taking pride in being unapologetically black, they reject it. Because they, like most of us, have been taught to fear what you don't know. And if you've never been allowed to know your own history, to embrace your Afro roots, to unlearn that colonial shame, then yeah, of course you'll see blackness as a threat instead of freedom. So no, we're not going to group all Latinos together. We can't. But we are going to talk about the history, the erasure, the fear. Because some of y'all aren't choosing Trump, you're choosing distance. Distance from blackness, distance from yourselves. But what you're running from might just be your key to liberation. And if we don't talk about that, we're not building bridges, we're building silence. And I refuse to be quiet about it.
To the Latinos that voted for him, you will never, and I repeat, never be white. You will never be accepted as one of them. And you certainly are not exempt from the racism that is this racist ass regime. When that lady put in her post, alligators' lives matter, and she mentioned a number, that number being 65 million. Do you know how many Latinos are in the United States? Approximately 65 million, according to the US Census Bureau. Approximately 60 plus million people. So guess what? They weren't just talking about the illegal immigrants, because data actually says that there are 10 to about 12 illegal, undocumented folks in the United States. They're talking about you. They're talking about people like us, because we are not exempt from the racism that is rooted in what these people believe in, and frankly, the foundation of this country that was built on the stealing of land from indigenous people by immigrants that came here from Europe. But when you think that you are better than an immigrant because your family came here the right way, remember that this land was actually stolen from day one. So when you think that you are better because you're second generation or third generation because you've been an American for a longer amount of time, I hope that you never have to experience a time where you have to flee a country for your own safety or that of your family. So when you think that you are somehow not going to be affected by any of this, when you think that you don't have to care, what happens if you are next? What happens if it's someone that you personally know? And I know already, because we've seen it. We've seen the clips of people that supported him, diehard supporters that are now crying on the news because their family members are getting deported and they thought that they would never be impacted. You see, in this country, so many people lack empathy. They are unwilling or somehow unable to think beyond themselves, and then we run into these situations. Wake up. The proximity to whiteness isn't serving you, and it's not serving the community. You have to recognize what is happening, because ultimately, they're not just going after criminals. And all of this is connected to so many things that impact our community and frankly are holding us back, like anti-blackness and colorism and internalized racism. And if you think that these are woke words, look them up and you will realize what exists, what has existed in our community for a very long time. And I say all this because there are so many people that have fallen to the false prophets of the world, and I need us as a community to come together and wake up. So if you're wanting more of this type of content, follow for more, because we need to have this conversation.
Gotta address the racism coming and the hatred coming from the Latino community towards the blacks. Okay, you gotta understand, black people, 13% of the population, right? But our influence stretched so hard that I saw a video of people asking random people in Japan, how much of the percentage of the population do you think blacks make up? They said 50% because of our influence. Now you gotta understand, these other groups, they'll get jealous, especially the Mexicans, because in their country, the darker Mexicans, they keep their boot on their neck. They keep them up. As a matter of fact, you won't even see none of them make it up here. That's how bad it is. They won't even work with them. They stay down there. I seen a couple of dark Mexicans in Chicago. That's a big metropolis though, but you know. But to make a long story short, we came up with country western, we came up with R&B, we came up with rap, we came up with blues, and all of that comes out of the struggle and strife of the inequalities and everything that we, you know what I'm saying, experience. Now, as far as hard working and all of that with the Mexicans. I mean, I rock with a lot of Mexicans, man. But the thing is, they work for cheap. So if you gonna work for damn near slave labor, yeah, you're gonna have to bust your ass. That's just what it is. We made it past it. We ain't doing it no more. You know what I'm saying? And that got a lot of them pissed. They want to replace us as the most influential minority. But ain't nobody waking up trying to be Mexican. A lot of people waking up trying to be black and act black until it's time to be a ninja. But you have to understand where that hatred comes from. You know what I'm saying? It's like when your little cousin want to be you, but he really kind of hates you a little bit because he can't be you. And that's all it is, man. I mean, like, even with the women, you know, you don't see too many white boys running up trying to get a Mexican woman. They might want a Puerto Rican woman or something mixed with some black. But, you know, I mean, too many guys trying to run up and be wifed up with something that's going to turn into a refrigerator, man. I'm just saying. And I ain't dissing all Mexican women. There's some fine ones out there. But genetically, sometimes they turn into the Frigidaire. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, and then the men, you know, the one little short Mexican guy that's talking about how, you know, the bald-headed dude talking bad about blacks. First of all, man, in the prison system, y'all won't even give a brother a one-on-one fight. So you half a man anyway. So you can't even talk shit because you're not going to bag it up one-on-one with a man. A black man at that. And then in the prison system, y'all team up with the white boys. So, yeah, it could have been a black and brown coalition, but when Leroy go home with Maria, the brothers want to beat him up. But Keisha could come home with Jose, and it ain't no problem. So that's the reason, man. You know, that's why we like, all right, gloves off. Here's what it is.
I'm seeing some misplaced anger from some Latino people coming out saying, oh, black people, you need to be out there with us, front line, standing with us in solidarity. We did. We stood with y'all in their voting booth. Black people voted in solidarity against that man. I'm not saying this is not our fight. What I am saying, we stood up for y'all when y'all didn't stand up for yourselves. Matter of fact, let me show you something right quick. This is from American Society, Council of Americas, who got their data from the Associated Press, as you can see right here. 42% Latino voters cast a ballot for Donald Trump. Y'all are house divided. Now, to compare, 81% of black folks voted for Kamala Harris, actively voted against this, what's happening right now. So I'm not saying don't be upset, but maybe direct it towards your own kinfolk, your own skinfolk first, because we stood with y'all in that booth.
I am so sick of watching black Americans sit there and advise their people not to support the immigration movement that's going on across the entire United States.
We already provided you guys with a whole amazing woman. Donald Trump, I don't know if you heard about the budget bill that increased the U.S. debt by $3 trillion, taking away from working class people. Okay, this is the chart here. You see 90% of U.S. income earners are not seeing a dime of that money. It was for the billionaires. And on top of that, FEMA's cut. You got ICE agents and masks coming to yoink people up. Whereas you had Kamala Harris, this whole amazing woman who was going to extend a child tax credit to people with children, who was going to extend a credit to people who had elderly family members in the home as well as children, who was going to extend a subsidy, a tax credit on first-time homebuyers of $20,000. So black people already helped you. Sorry.
Welcome back.
Yeah, that's crazy. Look, I like this guy right here, this old black dude right here, because he just listen to what he said, what he's saying right here.
Was not made for you. You was deemed as less than 1/5 of a human. All men is created equal. If you wasn't a man and was less than a dog, how was it meant for you? We the only ones on the planet that everybody hates. Why? I own this and everything that come with it. They'll put the truth in plain sight. I teach my grandkids. You start work at 18. You stay on the same job for 50 years. Say you're making $40 an hour, okay? Mm-hmm. They take in a third of that in taxes, okay? Wow. You pay taxes on everything, knowing taxes wasn't even made for you. But I never forget where I came from. I had somebody walk up on me and just looked at where I was dressed. And I went to the store just like this here. And they looked down upon me. And then I pulled out the car with no limit. They were like, huh? Next thing you know, the cops was in the store. I'm telling you, honest God, true.
For real?
Next thing you know, the cops came in the store. They wouldn't even get my card back.
This in Texas?
I'll tell you exactly where I was at. If you go on Northwest Highway and drive towards where the Cheesecake Factory at,
right,
that mall over there, I went in there to get my wife a purse. Okay. The woman told me that, you know what I mean, maybe I had better luck at the Louis Vuitton store was right around the corner. Like I couldn't afford nothing in there. So me with my arrogance, you know, my own understanding, me with my arrogance, I go in my pocket, put the card, I can put the card in my car right there. Put the card down. You wanted $5,000 for the purse. Here you go. If you know the police come in, you reported a stolen credit card. Here's my ID to match it and everything. Now what was it stolen? Then the police going to ask her, well, do you want them trespass? When can the police solicitate a trespass against anybody? When there's 3 steps to it. Ask me to leave.
Yep.
I come back.
Yep.
You trespass me. I leave. I come back. Now I'm subject to arrest.
Yeah.
I've been military police. Yeah. I got family in the police. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I done been to prison. I done did the law stuff. All that. Be humble. It's a time to speak. Because right now, if the police came up and said something to us, asked me for my ID, I know I ain't got to give it to them. I ain't done nothing. But I'm going to give it to you. I'll see you on the back end.
Man.
The fight with you now is to make you say, well, I need to detain you.
Yep.
You're going to put me in cuffs.
Shit.
You're going to make my arm twist a little bit so I feel uncomfortable. Natural reaction is to do what?
To resist.
You know what I mean? To move, to make you feel comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Stop resisting. And you notice they say it loud enough for people to hear. The constant.
Exactly. That's how they do us. And a lot of times we play into it. They want us to get loud, bro. And it's like, for what? You got to kind of go along with it, handle it on the back end. But this one right here got me, too. This one got me, like, kind of tripping out, too. It's another good one.
Because anytime white people want to smooth some over, they go get that rich and put you on TV to represent the people, you know? You have you asking you questions like, Damon, now that you made this $13 million, and we're not counting, now that you've made all this money, let me ask you this. Let me just throw this out at you. You respond any way you want. Is there racism in America? You be sitting there thinking about that paycheck, talking about, no, sir. If in there is, I ain't seen none.
Damon Wayans said this in the year 1990,
Man,
and yet it still
1990.
sadly remains true. For example,
What's your thought on Black Lives Matter?
What is it? What do you mean?
The idea is that there's this movement called Black Lives Matter, thinking that the rest of America didn't seem to understand that Black Lives Matter.
It just sounds weird. I didn't know that you put a name on it. It's not a name. It's not whatever. It's somebody got shot by police for a reason. I am a young, black, rich. If that don't let you know that America understands Black matter these days, I don't know what it is. That man white, he filming me. I don't know what you mean. Don't come at me with that dumb man. My life matters, especially to my.
Dang.
Do you feel, though, connected to...
I don't feel connected to a damn thing that ain't got nothing to do with me. If you do, you crazy as you.
Now,
at the camera.
after this,
you
I'm going to show you this other one that's going to break it all down.
If it ain't got nothing to do with me, I ain't connected to it.
here was Lil Wayne on Nightline in 2016.
Where are we in the United States of America in race relations and what you see from day to day in your life?
Exactly.
Skip, they wouldn't want to ask me that. They wouldn't want my answer to represent it because God knows I have been nothing but blessed. My whole path, these 33 years have been nothing but a blessing. I have never, and never is a strong word, I've never dealt with racism, and I'm glad I didn't have to. And I don't know if it's because of my blessings. I don't know if it's, but it is my reality. So I would have to say, not only did I thought it was over, I still believe it's over, but obviously it isn't.
So you've never experienced any offensive behavior from any other color or?
No, sir.
Wow.
And here he was on Fox Sports 1 with his boy, Skip Bayless.
A lot of white kids love rap.
Yes.
Explain that. What does that say to you? What's the message of it? What's the bigger picture of it?
I don't want to be bashed because I don't want to sound like I'm on the wrong if there is a side, but I thought that was clearly a message that there was no such thing as racism. That's what I thought that was.
Okay.
What's your reaction to Kaepernick's protests?
Bad.
going right back again to this man. That's the man's decisions, man. Respect the man and his decision. That's all I can do. I have no opinion on it because the things that's, I mean, I'm not into it enough to even give an opinion. So when he did it, I really didn't even know what, somebody had to tell me why he was doing it. That's how much I didn't know what was going on.
Yeah, he did.
I kind of still don't. So somebody had to explain to me, like, yo, you kneeling because of the Black Lives Matter thing, and because.
But that money will make him say what you know they want him to say.
And all that wave or whatever, that whole wave just went by me too fast for me even try to even give an opinion. So I just was like, oh, okay.
No wonder this happened.
Y'all pull this stupid tweet up. So Lil Wayne, y'all actually sent this tweet out. And if y'all want to see just how stupid this is, this fool tweeted this about more than an hour ago. Just had a great meeting with Donald Trump. Besides what he's done so far with criminal reform, the Platinum Plan is going to give the community real ownership. He listened to what we had to say today and assured he will and can get it done. What the hell is that fool talking about, Reese? Lil Wayne, if you want to endorse Donald Trump, go ahead. But don't sit here and think we stupid, Erica, by saying that the Platinum Plan is going to help Black people. How in the hell is something one page?
This would not be the lone video that paints a deeper picture of what Damon Wayans was saying.
When America comes together, we've made tremendous progress, but powerful forces want to pull us apart. 100 years ago, kids in classrooms were taught the color of their skin was their most important characteristic. And if they looked a certain way, they were inferior. Today, kids are being taught that the color of their skin defines them again. And if they look a certain way, they're an oppressor. From colleges to corporations to our culture, people are making money and gaining power by pretending we haven't made any progress at all, by doubling down on the divisions we've worked so hard to heal. You know this stuff is wrong. Hear me clearly. America is not a racist country. It's backwards to fight discrimination with different types of discrimination. And it's wrong to try to use our painful past to dishonestly shut down debates in the present.
Well, Larry, it's a simple concept. Yeah, the concept is American progress. Can you see it? Is it tangible? If you look back over history, can you see racism, discrimination in a systemic system designed for the oppression of people? The answer is yes. Have we overcome that? Unequivocally, without doubt, assuredly, yes. Emphatically, yes. The evolution, the arc towards justice consistently has been in the right direction. Why we spend more time in the rearview mirror and less time in the windshield, I'll never understand. We should actually reverse that. We should spend most of our time in the present and the future, and only enough time in the rearview mirror to learn the lessons, not to repeat the past. But for us to pretend like this is somehow 1965 or 1921 or worse, 1865 is only to denigrate the progress, the pain, the misery, and the loss of lives that got us to a place where in 2010, I was elected to Congress in the birthplace of the Civil War.
South Carolina Senator Tim Scott couldn't help but make the case for Wayans as well.
And the number one problem facing Black America has nothing to do with white racism or racist trees. It has to do with the fact that 73% of Black kids are raised without fathers.
And when he was confronted on this line,
you're talking about that there's this epidemic in the Black community of fatherlessness. What have you done to combat fatherlessness in the Black community?
Okay, so you're accepting that we have an issue with fatherlessness in the Black community. You're accepting that, I assume.
I'm not. You said that.
I didn't think so. So you're not accepting it, and you're asking me, what am I doing about something that you don't accept?
No, you're. My question is clear as day. Is that have you not done anything to combat fatherlessness?
You just now acknowledged, in your opinion, that what I just now said isn't even a problem.
What have you done about fatherlessness?
Rachel, you acknowledge that we have a problem with fatherlessness in the Black community?
Larry, please answer, what have you done to combat fatherlessness?
I'm waiting for Rachel to answer my question.
I've already answered that question.
So you want me to respond to a problem that you don't think exists?
It's okay.
Okay, LarryElder.com, we really got to go.
Hey, I appreciate
Yeah, what the hell, bro? Yeah, thanks for that video. Now, here go, bro, this is crazy as hell, bro. I ain't even gonna hold you. Shia LaBeouf. Now he gonna break it all down in a more, understandable way for everybody. I like this video.
The truth of the matter is the West, the Europeans, are by far the most animalistic people on earth, truly. The Europeans and their American children. You need to know this. Like I said, everyone outside the West needs to know this, needs to understand this. And Westerners themselves need to know this about themselves. And they actually need to face this fact. They are the most animalistic people in the world. You know how animals in the wild, especially predators, predatory animals, if one of their pack gets wounded or gets old or gets sick, what do? Well, they leave it to die, don't they? If you can't hunt, you're useless to the pack. No one's going to carry you. Well, who does that sound like? They literally used to throw old people off a cliff when they got too old in Europe. Now they just throw them into nursing homes or sedate them or what have you. Or else they literally will just let them lose everything and die homeless in the street. They don't care. Nobody cares. And the moment you're old enough to hunt, okay, predatory animals, with predatory animals, the moment you're old enough to hunt, you're on your own. Go make your own pack. No one's going to take care of you. Well, in the West, they can't wait to get their kids out the house. You're 18, why are you still under my roof, right? That's their thinking. That's animalistic. And this runs through their whole society. It runs through their whole culture. Their economy is a hunting economy. It's a predatory economy. Acquire resources, seize the prey, take, get yours, don't worry about anyone else. That's their thinking. Very territorial as well, very controlling, always competing, always fighting, always trying to obtain dominance, always laying claim, laying claim to this and that and the other, claiming their dominion. The United States of America has spread its scent like a predatory animal all the way down to the tip of Chile and Argentina. It's so animalistic, in fact, that they came up with a so-called scientific theory that asserts the idea that human beings are nothing but animals, and that teaches the idea that we can learn about human behavior by studying chimpanzees, by studying gorillas, by studying wolves, and so forth. I mean, once you recognize this about them, you can see it, like I say, running through every aspect of their whole so-called civilization. It's a fundamental, foundational belief that human beings are innately bestial and predatory and selfish and alone. They're coming from a very deep place of contempt for mankind. You're not going to be able to properly analyze anything that involves Westerners if you don't understand this about their collective psyche, about their cultural background, about their framework, about their paradigms. And furthermore, you're not going to be able to properly evaluate any Westerner's analysis of anything.
But I wish he was lying. But on that note, man, I got to get up out of here. Thank y'all for watching. Make sure you like the video. And we'll be back tomorrow. Dang, no, it's Friday. We'll be back tonight. And we'll do this again. But thanks for watching, and y'all have a good day, all right? Peace out. Peace and love, always.